My sister hugged me at my wedding and told me she was proud of me. 2 hours later, I heard her telling my husband he was making the biggest mistake of his life. My sister and I were always close growing up. At least that's what everyone believed. We were only 3 years apart, shared the same friends in high school, and even went to the same college. If anyone asked, I would always say she was my best friend. We grew up in a house where family meant everything. My parents always told us that no matter what happened in life, the two of us should always have each other's backs. Because of that, I never once questioned my relationship with her. So when I got engaged to my husband Daniel, she was the first person I told. She screamed, hugged me, and immediately started talking about helping me plan the wedding. She helped pick out decorations, went dress shopping with me, and even gave opinions on things like the venue, the cake, and the music playlist. She came to every planning meeting and kept telling me how excited she was. She even joked that she was more invested in the wedding than I was. At the rehearsal dinner the night before the wedding, she gave a small speech. She talked about how she had watched me grow up, how proud she was of the woman I had become, and how happy she was that I found someone like Daniel. Everyone in the room smiled and clapped. I remember thinking in that moment how lucky I was to have a sister who supported me so much. On the day of the wedding, she hugged me right before the ceremony and whispered, "I'm really proud of you." At the time, that meant everything to me. The ceremony went smoothly, the reception was loud and chaotic in the best way, and everyone seemed to be having a great time. Music was blasting, people were dancing, and relatives I hadn't seen in years kept coming up to congratulate us. At some point during the night, I stepped outside behind the venue to get a little fresh air. My feet were killing me from dancing, and my head was spinning from all the excitement. That's when I heard voices near the back parking lot. One of them was my sister. The other was Daniel. I wasn't trying to listen in at first, but the sentence I heard made me stop walking. She said, "You know this is a mistake, right?" Daniel sounded confused. "What are you talking about?" Then my sister said something that made my chest tighten instantly. "You don't actually know her the way you think you do." I stood there frozen behind the wall, trying to understand what was happening. Daniel asked her what she meant. She told him that growing up I was selfish, dramatic, and impossible to deal with. She said I always ruined things for everyone around me and that he would eventually regret marrying me. Every sentence sounded like she was describing a completely different person from the one I thought she saw me as. Daniel didn't say much at first, then he asked a simple question. "Why are you telling me this now?" There was a long pause before my sister answered. "Because someone should warn you before it's too late." At that point, I stepped out from behind the wall. They both turned and saw me standing there. My sister's face went completely pale. For a moment, nobody said anything. Then Daniel looked at her and asked something I'll never forget. "If she's really as terrible as you say, why did you spend the last year helping her plan this wedding?" My sister didn't have an answer. She just stood there, staring at the ground, like she suddenly didn't know what to say anymore. That was the moment I realized something I probably should have understood years earlier. Some people don't hate you openly. Sometimes they smile, hug you, and celebrate with you while quietly waiting for the moment they think they can finally turn everyone else against you. But that night, it didn't work.